Hello and welcome to a race on iRacing, which is pretty uncommon for this channel, but we're giving it a go as we recently got some new V8 Supercars in iRacing, and it's week 13 I believe, which I've never been a part of before. I've done a little bit of iRacing. I'm not brand new to it, but I still don't know everything about it. But I believe week 13 is usually the week where people drive like this. So really 3 or 4 cars flipping around, not even the first corner of the track, and the race gets underway. And I believe there were about 40 cars on track at the time. I started near the back without qualifying. I'd done a little bit of practice prior to this just so I can get the hang of the car, and this car is extremely hard to drive, I can tell you that right now. It's no ABS, no traction control, but plenty of throttle control, and that's very important to get this car around the track without putting it in the walls, because I found this car was fairly fragile if you touch the walls at any point. So we're coming through here the first time. I'm already missing apexes, and we've seen plenty of people go off the track already. I don't have positions on the screen right now, so I've got no idea what position I am throughout the race, but I know I started in 24th, and by the time we got to the start line I was probably like 20th or something, with people going off the track all over the place. But yes, if you enjoy this video, let us know, and maybe we'll be doing some more iRacing videos on the channel, because as you're about to see, I really had a good time doing this race, and as a Kiwi I am, I got to do the V8s at some point, so this is my opportunity. I was pretty stoked to see the new ones come to iRacing, so it was a must do for me to do this race. Coming to the dip, I'm already tapping that Mustang in front of me. Probably didn't get any damage from that, it was very light. Nice and slow through here. It was so easy to lock up to that corner, and as soon as you do that you run the risk of going straight into the wall on the outside, which will then give you probably enough damage to put you out the race. Okay, this is probably my first fair on-track overtake of the race. I'm still side by side along him. I was driving the Holden in this race, but I also have the Mustang, which I'll probably drive in the future. The guy behind me actually went off the track a little bit, slightly outbraked himself, but luckily he didn't come running into me. But yeah, as I said earlier, the biggest thing coming out of all the corners is your throttle control. As you'll probably see in many places throughout this race, people slam on the throttle and they end up spinning it, and that's the easiest thing to do in this car. And also, it does seem like there's a bit of setup work required to get this thing to do quick lap times. It took me, I didn't change a lot, I'm not exactly a setup whiz, but I softened some springs here and there, and it seemed to do enough to make me comfortable to drive the car. At this point, maybe we're sitting around 13th, I think. I can't be sure about that, but we've definitely made up a few positions. And this is a 15-minute race, I believe. So maybe 8 laps or so. We've also got the issue of people locking their brakes, and once again there's someone overdoing it on the exit of the corner with too much throttle, making up 2 positions there. And now I've got a damaged hole in front of me without a rear wing, so you'd think maybe this would be an easy overtake for me. Well, we're about to find out how that goes. So through the mountain, it's not exactly the easiest thing to do an overtake, because the cars go from left to right across the track so often that there's not really a place to make a dive. Coming through here, sometimes if they have a really poor exit you can quickly sweep into the inside, but I don't get that opportunity right here. And even though this guy doesn't have a rear wing, he's showing some pretty decent pace. I mean, I'm getting held up by him, but he's not super slow. At this point, okay, I'm right behind him, and I definitely did want to find a way past before I lost any opportunity of catching up to anyone else in front of him. So the opportunity had to be down this straight here, and he's gone wide, which is right away opened the door for me to dive into. And away I go. He shouldn't be able to keep up with me. No, he doesn't. And now down the Conrad straight we go for the first time of the race, and there's a big gap in front of me, so there's some time for me to concentrate, get my braking points, turning points and acceleration points together, which should hopefully get my lap times down a little bit so I can catch up to guys in front. Coming into the chase, you don't want to lock up the brakes or you'll be flying right into that runoff on the outer side, and you'll lose plenty of time or even hit the wall there, and your race will probably be over. So that was probably the part I practiced the most before this race. And that I also noticed that when you hit big curbs in this car and you give it too much steering input, it loves to flip. As you saw before the race even started, people were just flipping here and there and everywhere. First corner is going to be one of my weakest corners on this track. I always give myself a pretty bad run coming onto the second straight of the track. We approach the hill again for the second lap, and we still have a big space ahead of us, but I feel like we're gaining. And there's also some back markers within the pack ahead, which I can't exactly tell you who is and who isn't, who is for position and who is not, but there's a mix of them here and there. And I know that around about now, I'm pretty sure I'm in the top 10. Oh, and just like that, I'm already behind someone, and they've binned it on the accelerator pedal again. I'm pretty sure that was a back marker though, not for position. This guy must be a back marker, he's clearly letting me through. Gosh, it's such a hard thing to get through this part of the track without scraping any walls. But it's good fun once you do it. On top of the hill, there's actually a very rare chance you'll actually ever be at 100% on the throttle, because there's so many places there. If you just push a little bit too hard, you'll end up spinning the car. And coming through down to the dipper there, you're very often off the throttle, just slowing the car down, avoiding running into the walls. Now onto the Conrad straight for the second lap, and we're behind someone. I'm not sure if this is for position or not. No, I don't think it is. They're just letting me through. And I can almost comfortably say I'm around 5th place at this point. And the person in first place was a good 20 seconds or so ahead, so I had my hopes well down of catching up to them. But I knew that, I'm pretty sure those cars you can see in the distance are for position, and maybe I could catch up to and battle for maybe a 2nd place at best. Yeah, so we've got a group of cars up here, and for the last lap or so I've been lacking some proper overtaking action, so I was keen to get in on this. And I've already lost count of laps. Is this the 3rd lap? I'm not sure, but I'm already showing my progress catching up to this group. Getting a somewhat decent exit out of that corner this time, so that should help me on my journey to catch up with these fellas up ahead. I also know that you can adjust the anti-roll bars on this car on the go, so maybe that's something I should look into for the future to help the car rotate around corners or maybe prevent oversteer. If you know much about that, please give me some tips in the comments, and I'm sure everyone else would be glad to know that as well. But like I said, I didn't really change much in the setup other than my springs. I don't think I changed anything else. Maybe the gear ratio so that I wasn't hitting the limiter on the Conrad straight. You don't quite hit 300k an hour. This corner right here is not quite flat, but it's close to. You just need a quick lift and you're back on the throttle again. This corner is fairly dodgy because you can end right up on that wall if you're not careful. All about balancing the car between understeer and oversteer around the whole track and not locking up someone off the track there. I think that might have actually been for position, that car that was off there. Not too sure, but we're right behind these guys now. We've got a Mustang first up. May or may not be a back marker. Okay, no, that is a back marker. This hole in front of me, that is for 3rd position, and the car a little bit further down the road, that is 2nd position. And as I said earlier, 1st position is absolutely miles ahead, so we don't have to worry about him for now. But we've got this guy right in front of us. He's not keen to just let it go yet, so we're going to have to battle with him to get through. Pinching that outer right tyre there. Luckily enough to slow it down for the corner, but I'm being held up a little bit by this guy, so I've got to find an opportunity as soon as I can. Making a fake dive. Does he fall for it? No, he doesn't quite make the apex. I don't exactly get the best run out of the corner, so it's not really giving me an opportunity to get down the inside of him yet. Another fake dive. Oh, that scared him into overdoing the corner, I think, but I'm still side by side with him. I can hear him there, he's still there, you can't see him, I can't see him, but I know he's there somewhere. I think I'm gradually pulling away from him, but I'm still on the outside, so it's going to have to be a late break for me to get around him. And on the outer side of this corner, it's a little tiny bit more off camber than it is on the inside, so you've got to be very careful you don't slide off into the wall. But I do have the position. Oh, that's a big snap of oversteer. I don't actually know how I managed to save that. We got one guy off there, a couple back markers that we just managed to get through. But my next goal is to get up to this Holden and give him a shot for 3rd place. And I wasn't exactly driving the best line through there. I lost about a second on him right there. Alright, I'll go quiet until I catch up to this guy and we'll start commentating again once I get there. Oh, that wasn't too long. Oh, it's not exactly how you want to drive that corner. But that gave him another advantage to get away. At this point, second place is looking kind of far ahead. Don't really know if that's going to be a realistic goal at this point, but the guy in front of me sure is, so I'm going to have to keep pushing for that. I also noticed a little earlier in the lap this guy in front of me was scraping some of the walls. I'm not sure if that was just lag or if he was actually doing that, because surely that would be giving him damage. And it seems like any damage on this car was slowing me down, so I just was avoiding all the walls at all costs. Well, not quite close enough to put a dive on him there. He still makes a fairly decent corner. I get a lot of oversteer. Once again, that's giving him an advantage, getting away, making the gap bigger, which is not what I want, so time to concentrate. Average exit out of that corner. And the guy behind me, he hasn't fallen right back just yet, so he might still be in contention for this podium position, but we'll see how it goes. Making our way to the hill again for maybe the 6th or 7th time. Like I say, I don't know what lap it is, I don't know what position I'm in. I'm in 4th position at this point, with the guy in first miles ahead. He's taken that corner very tight. It's not going to give him a very good exit here. Nice and close to the wall, making my run out of there as good as I can. I'm right on his tail now, so any little mistake I might be able to pounce on. We're still pretty even through here. He's gone wide, but no overtaking opportunities probably until the next straight. Well, I'm getting really close to that inner wall at the dipper there and the one on the exit. If you hit those, you won't be continuing your race. He's gone pretty hot into the corner. This might be my opportunity. Nice and close to the wall on the exit. We got the slipstream, and it does seem we have a better exit this time around. So can I make it to the podium position for the first time of the race? I'm side by side with him, but do I get in front of him? We're about to find out. I can't see him. I can see him appearing in the rearview mirror, and he's had to back out of it. I've claimed 3rd place. Can I make it for this corner? I can slow down. That's 3rd place. So now we move our focus to the guy in 2nd, who is maybe 2 or 3 seconds ahead. It's going to be a real challenge to catch up to him if we've only got 2 laps or so to go. Also, I got to mention that the guy in front, the guy that had a massive 20-second lead or something, he went on the pits this lap. You can't see anything on screen because I don't have any information, but I can tell you that happened. He must have gone and crashed and had to pit for repairs. But that means I move up into 2nd, and the guy in front of me is now in 1st. So, not a bad first V8 Supercars race for me. I started in 24th, so I've moved up a lot of positions. It's going to take some good driving, and that's not exactly what I call good driving, going very deep into that corner. That's going to hurt my chances of catching him up. I think the next lap is the last lap, so I'm going to have to do everything I can at this point. Avoid all the mistakes I can to catch up to him. He's going to be under pressure though. He knows that he's in 1st now. So if he makes a single mistake, I could pounce on that. Coming through this corner. Very easy on the throttle, you don't want to put onto the wall. Holding behind me. I'm pretty sure I'll be able to get away from him now, but like I say, that guy's under pressure, I'm under pressure, anyone can make a mistake, so we'll see what happens in the next lap or so. Coming through the S's, you've got to be very, very light on the brake. You press too hard, you'll lock up. Close to the wall through the dipper again. Easy on the brakes down here. As you can see, it's so easy to lock up at any point during the lap, and once again that's put me a bit behind, and I'm not going to be able to catch him up if I drive like that. Right now, so we're coming to the final corner. I just made a mistake going off the track a little bit just before, but we're coming on to the last lap now, and I'm going to have to drive a very perfect lap to have any chance of catching up to him. I don't think I can at this point. I sort of put my focus to keeping myself ahead of the guy behind me, but we'll see what can be done. Okay, this time I didn't quite understeer. Ooh, that guy in front, he's gone and hit the wall. That'll be some damage from him, and surely enough, he's already lost all that time he had. I'm right behind him now. He's going so slow, I'm actually rubbing up against his bumper. So he must have a huge amount of damage from that big wall smack he did. I'm going to have to find a way through pretty quick. There we go, he's giving me some room. Oh, just getting on the grass a tiny bit. Not a very easy thing to do to overtake to the mountain section, but I got it done. I'm first now, and the guy behind me, that Holden, he hasn't got through yet. So right now I'm looking in a good position to be in first. As long as I don't put it into a wall or into the grass, I should be fine. Nice and close to the wall there. Very smooth on the throttle. Let's not lock up through this corner, hopefully this time. Oh, a bit of oversteer, but I think I made the corner all right. Decent exit, that's all I need. And in the mirror, they're almost out of sight, so at this point I think I'm good. I just got to make sure I make the chase, I don't overdo it, and I should be good for my first position in the V8 Supercar, the new V8 Supercars on iRacing. Coming through the chase, we're going to brake where I normally do. Nothing wrong with that. Bit of a bump on the curb, we're all fine. Down to the final corner we go. Nice and easy, and that is a race win. I'm pretty stoked with that, coming from 24th. And I had a lot of fun driving this race. Here's a little montage of cars crashing all over the place before the race even started. But anyway, thanks guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more iRacing content, let us know in the comments, and we'll see you next time.